In this video, you are going to learn about data visualization in Flutter and everything you need to know to add these interactive charts that you see on your screen. If you want to follow along, make sure to download the code from the GitHub repository linked in the description, and let's get into the action. To add those beautiful charts in your Flutter project, all you need is one package, and that is FLchart. So add it in your pubspec YAML file and let's get started. In my main.dart file, I have just a center widget in the scaffold and will display our chart one by one as a child of the center widget. So let's start with the first chart that you see on your screen. I have all of the code ready and we are going to go through it line by line, and you will understand each and every aspect of making the chart. And after completing the video, you can draw or visualize your data in any form and customize it all according to your needs as well, because FLchart gives us a lot of customization options which we are going to see. So this is the data which I want to visualize here. This type of data usually comes from your API or anything else, and you just need to pass it into this widget which we have created here, which is bar chart one. I am assuming this mockup data here for the weekly data, and let's try to visualize its data as you see right here. So in my build method, I have just a container. I have given it height 350, some normal box decoration to make these curves rounded, and the color as you can see here, and the margin as well to make it not stick to the screen, and some padding so that our chart and the headlines can be look pretty much good and not cluttered altogether. And here is all the fun stuff starts in the column. I have given the cross axis alignment and the main axis alignment to make it stretch and look good all according to our needs. And this is the analysis part, and this is the weekly sales which you see right here. Okay, so now let's get into the part which is most exciting to us. That is the bar chart, which you can see right here. We put it in the expanded widget so that it can take the remaining height of the container, which we have defined here, the 350. Okay, so I have passed the bar chart in the padding, and the main point of discussion would be this main bar data. So let's take a look at what this main bar data is, which we have to pass in the bar chart whenever we are going to visualize any data in form of bar chart. So here is my main bar data. It returns a bar chart data, and bar chart data takes in these things: bar touch data, the titles data, the border data, and the bar groups. We're going to discuss each of these things in detail, and so let's start it with the first thing, which is the most important, which is this function right here, which is returning build all bars. All the bars that you are showing here is due to the working of this function. So let's take a look at what this is. And if you get this point, then you can draw any chart very easily. Let's see what we have in this. So the build all bars need to return a list of bar chart group data, and bar chart group data is coming from this function, which would actually define what this bar would look like, and its position, its x-axis value, and the y-axis value means how much portion it will cover, what to display, what not to display, and how it will change according to clicking and everything. So build all bars takes in the list which we have defined earlier, the weekly data list here, and the length, it will generate a new list which will contain the data of this bar chart group data type, but it's going to take this list first here, and now it's going to iterate through all of this list here, and it will convert that data to the bar chart group data type. It's basically just like mapping. So here I have to pass in the index, which is just basically from 0 to 7, because we have 7 days in a week, and the value of that at that particular index. So like for 0 it's going to be 5, for 1 6.5, and so on. And the one additional thing that we have to pass is whether the bar is currently in the the user is interacting with the bar or not, like bar is touched or not, like this here. As you can see, when I'm touching the bar, it changes its state and appearance. So that's why we have to put bar in the stateful bar chart in the stateful widget as well. So let's focus on this build bar first here. So what this build bar is, it will take x and y. X is just the position where it has to display that bar, and y is the value that it needs to display, that you all can see here, and whether it's in the touch mode or not. And now it needs to return a bar chart group data. When the x that we define here, it's going to put it the position, it will decide with that. And now for bar rods, it will decide the y, what it has to display in the y. As you see in the preview, in one chart there were two values of y for one particular x, so that's why this needs to be a list of bar rods. In this case we have only one rod, so we'll give basically only one bar chart rod data in this list. And this rod data looks like this. This y value, when it is in the touch mode, then I'm going to show the y value plus 1, otherwise I'm just going to show y. And the color that you see in this bar, when it is not in the touch mode, then I will show a white color that you can see, and when it is in the touch mode I will show the yellow, just like this. And the width of the bar is how much spacing it would take. And this is interesting thing here, backdraw rod data means what is going to appear in the back of this rod, like this rod that you see behind this white rod. It's just like this only, and this is the color of this rod. If I change it to red here, you will have, and yeah, it's converted to red. So this is the background rod functionality. So this is how you can customize any bar that you want to display here, its width, height and everything. So we have covered the most important thing, and that is displaying the bars. Now let's take a look at something called titles data. Now in any data visualization, the x and y axis is really important, and that's what we handle with the titles data here. We'll call this function here build axis, and let's see what it is in this function. So we have to return something called fl titles data here. I can understand the naming can be a bit confusing here, so we can't do anything with that, but I try to make the name of the functions very clear so that you do not have any problem understanding. So in the bottom titles is for the x-axis. We have to pass in the site titles. You have to make it true, show titles, and text style is just to stylish mtwt that you are seeing here. And the margin that you're seeing here is its space from the starting where the chart is started building. So if I make it 0, then you will see all of this will stick to the bars. So we'll change it again to the 16. And here is the main important part, how it would actually decide where to show what type of label. So that has to be fixed in this get titles parameter. It would take a value as a double, and this value would start from 0 to the length of the list. So in this case it would start from 0 to 6, and you may assume that it should be int if that's the case, but that's not the case here. It's double, and we'll just convert it into the int with the switch statement, and according to the case we are just defining what should be here. Like if it's 0, then we know it's Monday, and so on. So that's how you can decide the x-axis title. There is no y-axis in this graph. That's why you have to make the left titles, which is y-axis, as false. Alright, so we have covered till now the axis part and displaying the bar charts. Now let's handle the touches as well, how the data is manipulating when it is touched. So as you know, here we have touched index, and whenever I'm touching any bar, the FL chart library is smart enough to understand which bar I have touched, and it would change the state of the bar according to that. Let's see what is there in this build bar touch data. So I'm in this function, and it's just responsible for displaying this tooltip when I'm touching the bar. So as you can see, Friday 10.0. So bar touch data takes in this touch tooltip data and this touch callback. So let's first understand what this touch callback is. So touch callback is going to change the state of the bar whenever we do something which is not among these three things. Like if I'm going to touch anywhere in the graph which is not on the bar itself, then it's not going to change the state. Otherwise, if all the conditions are true, then it's going to change the state like this. Like if I click on the white area of any bar, then it's going to change the state. As you can see, it's going to update the touch index, and as we know, in the stateful widget, the widget will build whole over again, and the touch index would now not be -1 but that special touch index. And as we have discussed here in this build bar here, if it's in the touch mode, then I'm going to change its color to yellow, and I will also increase the value of 1. I just did this here to make sure that you can make your charts more interactive, but if you don't want to do here, you can just make it Y as well. And now I'm going to reload, and I'm going to highlight my bars as well. And now let's verify whether all the data in the list is same or not. If I click on Monday, yeah, 5.0, 6.5. So you see we have displayed all the data accordingly and very easily with this bar chart widget which comes in the FL chart package. Now let's take a look at different bar in which we were showing the two rods on one x-axis, on one point of x-axis basically. I'm going to import this one, and let's reload the app. And here is this chart. We'll take a look at some customization that was different from the bar chart one, and let's see how you can achieve the same. Where is bar chart 2? This is bar chart 2, and let's understand. So in case of if I'm going to show the two values on one x-axis, then I need to have the two values in my data set as well. So here, corresponding to one x value, we have two y values, as you can see, 5, 12, 16, 20. And I've defined the left color, right color, width of the bar, and touch group index, just like we were defining earlier. So this container is just like the basic setup which we have done earlier, nothing much here which we have to go through. Let's take a look at main bar data again. So here I have to define something called max y equal to 20, and the reason for that is because we are displaying y-axis in this graph, and to display the y-axis here in the y-axis, it will go from 0 to the max y. If it's 0, then return 1k. If it's 10, then 5k. If it's 19, then do not return anything. Otherwise, I'm going to return a string. I can show you, if I just return a here, then all of my y-axis will be cluttered with a's. As you can see here, it's all cluttered with a's because it's going from 0 to 20. Alright. So you need to modify your y-axis just like that. And if you're wondering what this all is, it's just giving the text style, the margin, and the reserve size. You can try playing with these values, like if I make it 15, it will come more closer to the y-axis. Cool. Let's now move on to this part, how we can display the two rods with one x-axis. The x-axis here was just similar to the previous chart. And here is my main data. The border data is still false. Okay, if I make the border data true, we'll see the ugly border all around our chart. Yeah, this border. So make sure you make it false according to your needs as well. So in my build all bars method, I am again building a bar, and this time my bar have two additional things. One is the bar space, and you can see the two rods I am this time. Because for one x-axis we are displaying the two rods. So y1 would be the value which I'm passing from here. So that is weekly data index, the first value in our list of lists, and the second value. Okay, like this, I'm passing 5 and 12. And now in the build bar, I'm just adjusting it accordingly, giving y1 to the first rod and y2 to the second rod, and it's just all looking really good. The bars space is just the space between these two bars of one x-axis. Like if I made it 0, these two stuck to each other. Okay, so with that we have covered bar charts. Now let's move to the pie chart. Here I will just make it pie chart sample. So let's see how we can draw pie chart now. I'm going to go in the pie chart, and again I have just a basic container with some height, some decoration, some margin and padding, and in this case we are having a row instead of column. The first part of the row is this pie section that you see, and the second part is all these indicators. So first let's take a look at easy part, which is just the indicator. Indicator widget is just nothing which comes from FL chart, and it's a customizable widget that you can cater to your needs. My indicator widget is really easy. You just have a row and the two childrens. The first children takes in the icon, and the second one is column, displaying the title and basically the subtitle, you can say. And now let's see the code of this pie chart that you are going to see here. So like the bar chart, you need to have the pie chart data. The border data, we have just made it false. The center space radius is this radius that you are seeing right here. If I make it 0 like this, then it's going to be a different kind of pie chart. Like this, the pie chart is changed to like the fixed pie chart, the circle shaped pie chart, and not the spaced kind of pie chart. So I will make it 50.0 because this looks really bad. Yeah, this is now again a good pie chart. The section space is this space that you are seeing in green, blue and pink sections. So if I make it 0, then all of these are going to stick together. Yeah, it looks good as well. The start degree offset is to rotate the pie chart according to your needs if it's not fitting well. So 30 was looking good in this case. If I make it 0, you see it's a little bit off, so I will make it 30 again. And now let's see how we can make these curves. So I'm going to return a list of pie chart section data. In case of bar chart, it was bar chart data. It is pie chart section data, and again we will see whether it is in the touched mode or not. And the touched mode, it looks like this. You can see how beautiful it is. will increase the radius of the section when it is touched. And yeah, as we have discussed earlier, this data is coming from some sort of API or some sort of analysis that you have done. So this list just only have 3 values. If it's the first, then I'm going to display this pink item here. If it's not, if it's the second, then the blue one, and then third. So the pie chart section data takes these things: the color, the value, the title, and whatever the radius it would be. And it's important to give them all of the same radius to maintain the symmetry of the graph. And that's pretty much it about making your pie charts. It's really easy than bar charts, and there is not much that you have to handle when it is in touch mode as well. You just need to define the touch callbacks like in the bar chart as well, and see if the response is not long present in the pan end, then the touch index would be -1. Otherwise, the FL chart package is smart enough to understand which part of the pie chart I have touched and want to see in more detail. Like this, I can highlight it very easily. So this is about the pie chart. Now let's move to our last chart, which is line chart. So here I have my line chart. Let's understand the code of the line chart. In the sample one, again I have just the basic container, the margin, the decoration, the child, and this text headline and a subtitle. Let's get into the main part, which is this line chart. It again takes in the data, which is the sample data one here. Let's see what it is in the sample data. In case of line chart, we have again the line touch data, titles data, border data, grid data, and this line bars data, which we'll discuss in detail obviously. But the most important thing in case of line chart is these 4 values here. You have to give it the minimum value from which it's going to start from the x-axis, the maximum value it can go up to the x-axis, the minimum y, and the maximum y. If you are using some sort of list, then you need to find the maximum y value from that list of values that you are showing. Here the data that is coming is just the mock data, and let's see what is in this line bars data one and how you are going to display these 3 different lines. So again, as I've told you in the bar chart raw data as well, that you have to return a list whether you are going to display a single bar or 2 bars. And here as well, you just need to return a list even when you are just dealing with 1 line. Here we are dealing with the 3 lines, but the code for all of them is similar if you understand the one. So let's understand this blue line here, what's going on here. The main important thing that you need is these spots, because this is how the chart would be built. I have given it 1 and 2.8. So at 1 it's going to take this value 2.8, at 3 it's going to take 1.9, at 6 it's going to take 3. You get the idea. If I do not give any spot, then it will just curve it from the spots which are next. Okay, and this curve property is going to give a curve to the bar, and if I'm going to make this curve property false here, then you are going to see a simple straight line which looks really bad, because as I told you earlier, everyone loves curve. And the color is just basically the color of the line. The bar width, as you can basically guess, is the dot data. If you make it true, then you are going to see these dots here. It's very hard to show in the video, I guess, because of the colors, but I think you can see it, these dots here. It's good to make them false here, and according to your needs you can change them. And the below bar data, oh yeah, right, if I make this true here, you can see this data highlighted. Whatever the data this line is covering up until the x-axis is highlighted like this. So according to your needs you can customize it again. And my line chart 2 data, which is this line, the green line here, is just basically the same. I passed in the spots, the color, the width, the dot data, and below bar data. And now this third line here, again the same stuff, the colors and everything. And yeah, you can also customize the color of the highlighted area that you can see here as well. So at the end I just have to return these lines as a list, and if I comment these 2 out here, then I will only see my purple line. Yeah, you can see this very easily. So this is the main part of the line chart, how to create the spots, the FL spot and everything, the dots and all that stuff. Now let's take a look at the borders. Here you can see I have this x-axis border. So I have the show true, the border, the bottom border is, yeah, this is the data of the bottom border. If I make it red here, you can see it more clearly, I guess. So this is the bottom border that we were showing here. The left border, I just made it transparent, right top as well. Okay, so this is the border data. And the grid data, if I make it true, you can see the sort of grids as well. So these the kind of the grids that it shows by default. And now let's take a look at the X and the Y axis. It's similar to the bar chart, so nothing much here. As you can see, bottom title, reserve size, margin, and the value. Again, I'm switching according to the case. I'm deciding what to display on the X-axis and similarly on the Y-axis as well. This is going to go from 0 to the max Y, and the X-axis is going from 0 to max X. Okay, so these are X and Y axis. And now one cool thing about line chart is you do not have to handle much of the touch responses if you just make it true, built-in touches. And let's see the touches. So you can see how good it is in touching. It's displaying the tooltip and this crazy little line with the nice dot all by itself. We do not have to customize it. And in case of if it were to be 3 lines, then also it will handle very easily. Let me just show you by uncommenting this here, reloading my app, and let's see now. You can see this touch data, really handy feature. Built-in touches, you can make it true, and our line chart looks really awesome. So that's it for this video. Make sure you like the video, and if you want to see the similar kind of stuff related to data visualization in Flutter, make sure you leave a comment and please subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you.